Yo, yo, brothers, what's going on? And sisters too, as well. Yeah. Well, I did do some work. It's nighttime now, so I can't really go out and show my work in the garden. But it's getting better. Everything's getting cleaned up. It's like I was in a rush when I first started, and then kind of like let it hang and grow. Well, it has to be tamed. So I got my garden going together now. All right, it's coming out nice. Adding little flowers here and there. But listen, I'm on here right now to tell you, I've been playing in the Samaritan's worlds for a little while, and I am enjoying myself. I'm telling you, nothing speaks the word than this business of the Samaritans. Okay, along with the Egyptians, along with the Greeks and the Romans, these wonderful this group of stories, these myths that they're all calling the myths and stuff like that. They're just as viable as the God stories as our Bible is. Our Bible with the Old and New Testament. There is without a doubt hardly one thing that's different about them other than this is the way of storytelling. And man, God's people being so literal. All right, and I don't know how many times I've said this. That is not a compliment. All right. And, from unbeknownst to all of us, that's the reason why our world keeps being reset and why there's just so many resets going on, because only a few ever catch on to this. And those a few that are part of this have a hard time letting other people know what's going on. You have to be really close to this, or you just ain't. So my testimony as to what's going on only can fall on so many ears. But what I want to tell you about right now is that, I found Nibiru. Okay. We've been looking for this planet X. We've been looking for this planet of the crossing for a really long time. And so this idea of this extra planet up in the sky is really because I'm telling you, all these texts are about meditation, using our minds to come and find out all of these things, using our minds, going inside, tapping into this universal energy that gives us the ideas that we have. And we have had all kinds of wonderful different civilizations on Earth. But turning around and letting the dogma, the parts that I uncover, I can tell you, we're all looking for Nibiru. They're waiting to come over. It's going to cause troubles and crash things and whatever. It's just like the second coming. Everyone's worrying about the second coming. They're worried about Judgment Day, the end of times. And you can just bank, and you could pretty much put every one of those things in just one basket. One. Because they all mean the same. That Judgment Day, the day that things fall from the heavens onto the earth, it's done, man. This is why he says, hey, don't worry, don't these things have to happen, all right? But it's really about what happens in your mind. What you're having clashes now with what's real and what's not real, and what's fake and truth, and what is lies, and deception. These are within our mind. This is what's got to go. This is gonna, but you have to go through it first. So the planet of the crossing is the same thing. So this would be Marduk, all right, Marduk and his star. And you have to understand how things are made in twos. And I mentioned this a little earlier, that Marduk would be the outside, the king, the boss. And the inside guy, your brother, is the star. This is how it works in those four businesses of the worlds. And I have to actually look at this as the world. You are a world. You become this Nibiru. You are this Nibiru. But when we change over, when we cross and we turn into this new creation, it's a new world. And it has God's stamp on it. This is his new world. You. You're those four things represent a world, and that world is representing an earth, or an earth is earth. In our text, it's earth. Here, it's another world. It's another world. So when that comes around, you'll notice that as soon as it gets closer and closer to you, this is the changing of your mind. When the worlds collide, it's this idea that the higher mind is coming. It's like it's coming in the air. It's the mother of us all, Jerusalem, which is above. It's coming down. It's coming down like a. It's already built. And it's going to occupy this particular place. And of course, people on the outside are waiting for it to happen in real life. They say, "Oh my God, look at this! God's going to bring all this stuff. They're going to land, and how do you explain all of that? Because it's all supernatural." No, but in your mind, all this stuff happens. This is another meditation phase. You have to understand these guys came down to bring humility to people and to bring them to a place where they could learn how to mine for gold. And it's so hard for me to discuss. I had a guy stop by who's working on the house here, who saw all my pictures of the Inky and all these guys in a row, and he says, "Oh, this is I watched this. I love history. This history." And I said, "Well, it might be history. What if it's just symbolism, of something else?" "Oh no, this is real. This is real. This is real life. This is history. This history." I was like, well, it could be. It's like everything. You like to think that it's history. But when you take on this particular notion, there's this outside situation, it becomes it throws everything off. It's not. It's just another way of telling the stories that are represented in our Bible as this, you have to, even the story with little Inky Doo. He could be just like he would be like Esau, all hairy, coming out red and hairy already. I've heard people say, "Oh, he's some Anunnaki right off the bat." He's got to be some hybrid mix of human. He's red and he's hairy from head to toe. Well, that's just how they're representing the animal side of us, And that little Inky Doo, he's got all this hair and stuff going on him too. But when he meets up with this woman that's going to bring him wisdom and stuff like that, this is a good thing. And of course, all the animal features of him, the friends of his animal friends, who's been friends with all this time, no longer have anything to do with him and shun him. They won't even touch him. All right. So these wonderful stories are all about getting control, putting a bit in our mouth, and putting reins on a horse or some kind of a beast of some kind, and it turns them into a better thinking, better acting, and of Israel. This idea of an evenness of the brain, a peaceful mind. That just brings peace to you. And the only way we can have peace in the world is to start off with peace of mind in this world. The Nibiru, this is Marduk and his star. And they said, I'm gonna pull this down for just a second because we have to have some kind of. I went and I looked it up. And it's just in the Wikipedia, who cares whether it's real or not. But what happens in the Sumerian and Akkadian cuneiform text is that this confusing portrait of Nibiru. How can something represent a crossing or a dividing point and be a star, a god, and either Jupiter, which is Marduk, or Mercury, or both? How do we get this in here? Well, this is the whole problem with this. Is Marduk is going to represent the physical side of us, where we at. Marduk represents the physical side of us, the king, the boss, the venturer, the hero, and the other one is his seed. This is the star in us. This is the third kingdom down is the physical, is the human being. He's all of these all in one time. So this is how do you get the Trinity when you just got one human being in front of you? Well, it's because you're the Father, you harbor the Son, and you're going after the Holy Ghost. Right now, it's just Father and Son, And if you didn't know that, it's really you just are the Father. That's it. Who thinks all you are is the Son? Because you're blaming Father for the rest of these things. But anyways, I want to get into all of that. So Nibiru is this planet of the crossing, and this idea is when in the dividing, this idea of the separation from hell and from heaven and earth. They're right at that separation in all these stories. I'll read one of them later on, but it's when they are separated, does something happen? All right. And so remember, we're separated from birth. Okay. We only have Father. And so all the time that we have Father until the end of all of those fighting of nations and this and that, that's the 6. Once you go through all of that, this is the end of times. Now, this is this. If you want to understand this a little better, the idea of who is it that takes Isaac right up the mountain? Well, it gets up early in the morning, right? And this is Abraham, right? His God says, I want you got to sacrifice your firstborn. So he's checking out Isaac, he's not going to tell him anything about it, to see how much he loves him. So he goes up, he saddles up an ass, and he takes 2 guys with him, all right? And as he's doing this, he gets to the bottom of the mountain, and he leaves the 2 men and the ass behind. He says, we'll be back. And so it's just him and his son going up. Here's the 2 going up. Him and his son. This would be Isaac is the star of this show. He's the one that out of nowhere there's going to be a bull or something that's going to be sacrificed instead of him. But the whole idea is that when you're going up this mountain, there's just 2 of you going. All right, just 2 as you're moving. That's always the 2. It's how Enki devised this clever way to go in and save Inanna, right? Took these 2 sexless beings and sent them on this trip. These stories are just absolutely intertwined and mean the exact same thing. They're all teaching us how to become better people. But for some reason or another, we're rather having fun with Father. But I'm telling you, I'm on this other side. I'm still having fun. I can still have fun and enjoy life, I just got more discernment, certainly ain't going to do anything stupid or bad. I'm under too much counsel to make a bad decision. At least I'm still allowed to be myself. They didn't conquer, although this idea that this world, Nibiru, the star, belongs to God. It does. And I belong to you guys. All right? All right, so I hope you got something out of this. All right? But Nibiru has been found. So you can put your mind off of that other stuff. All right? The planet of the crossing, all this business is what's inside of us. Just absolutely beautiful.